Most people are using AI the wrong way. They're just putting in their question, their problem in a really short way, and then having ChatGPT just go. But the top 1% of people that use large language models don't use them this way. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build an AI that knows you, knows your goals, knows your business, knows your tone of voice, knows what you want to accomplish. That way the AI can become your personal strategist, your creative director, and help you make big and complex decisions. By the end of this video, you'll know how to train any large language model to become this personal strategist and decision maker that understands your life and your business. That way you won't be getting any more generic answers from these large language models. You'll also learn how to create an AI second brain, create an AI sparring partner to help you with your bigger decisions and to get the most out of what you're working on, and how to save this all permanently in your ChatGPT projects or custom GPTs. And you will know how to get large language models to give you more contextual, relevant answers that actually help you. My name is Daniel, and I've been using AI tools since the beginning in 2022 when ChatGPT came out to help me build IT agencies, affiliate marketing sites, YouTube channels, and membership sites. So whether you're a complete beginner, intermediate, or advanced with artificial intelligence, this video has something for everyone. So let's get started. Most people get generic responses in AI tools, especially when you're a beginner. Most people just start with a blank screen like we have here. And you really just get surface level advice, and you just waste a lot of time doing this. Of course, if you're asking a very basic question, you can just go ahead and start with a blank screen and just type away. For a lot of what you want from AI is going to come from having something that's more contextual and has more information about you. And you can get good answers just from starting from zero. So for example, we can start with prompt, help me build to start selling craft supplies on Etsy, right? So we have a basic prompt. It knows nothing about us. It just goes ahead and starts a business plan. Okay, we have the business overview, gives us a business name, really generic craft house, supplies, gives us the niche and product selection, picking one of these, product line strategy. So the answers are okay, but they don't exactly know our goals, what we want out of this business, how this business is supposed to operate, our target audience. It doesn't know any of this. So how is it supposed to give us specific information that will actually help us? So let me show you how to build an AI that's personalized to you. Okay, so the first step here is of course to choose your large language model. This is not something to get caught up in at this point. Any one of the big three here will work really well. If you're first starting out, I would recommend using ChatGPT. This is the one thing that beginners get caught up with a lot, is there's all these tools, I don't know what to use, and don't worry about that. They all work well. For our particular purposes, we'll definitely be using ChatGPT, be using the custom GPTs and projects, but Claude and Gemini have other project features that work well also. It's really just the concepts that you want to take away from this if you're using another large language model other than ChatGPT. So, of course, the large language models, they have their strengths and weaknesses. ChatGPT is, of course, the biggest name, overall, best large language model. Claude works well for coding, works well for copywriting. Gemini is best for using with your documents, with your email, and it's a little bit behind Claude and ChatGPT at the time of this recording. And we're still waiting for Gemini 3 to be released. Okay, so let's start with a prompt. So I already have a prompt that I created. We'll go ahead and go to that, and I'll leave a link to this prompt in the description of this video. And this prompt, let's just go ahead and go through it. It's a page and a quarter. Just briefly go over it. So I want you to act as my personal AI partner. You are my strategic advisor, efficiency optimizer, creative collaborator, and execution engine all at once. Approach every question, task, or request with the mindset of a top-tier operator who understands business, marketing, content systems, and personal performance. So really understanding everything here to help you with all your decisions. So it's talking about the communication style now. And before we start, I want to give you everything you need to know about me, my goals, and how I intend to use AI. Retain all this information and use it to tailor every response going forward. So that's really important. We wanted to have this context about you as it gives you the output in the large language model. We'll go ahead and fill this out really simply. We'll actually go ahead and use AI to fill this out just with dummy information just to speed this up. So we'll fill in these. Right now I work as a blank in the blank space, or I run a blank type of business. So we'll insert all this information, or insert the goals, the bottlenecks, and then a bunch of fill in the blank stuff here. So we'll go back. So again, just an example here. So we'll just fill it out with AI to fill out this, the bolded section with dummy information from exactly same, just fill in the bold sections. Okay, here we go. Taking it from the craft supply that we talked about previously. So we have our goals. I get my biggest current challenge is managing time between product creation, fulfillment, and marketing. So just some standard stuff here. So we can go ahead and see that this is going to give us all the information that the AI needs right now to better the answers, better the outputs. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and grab all of this. We'll go ahead and put it into a new chat. Paste it in and give us a response here. It's giving information now about us, it being our AI partner, our biggest bottleneck, just repeating the information that we want, which is what we added in. So now it's asking us to ask it a task. So now we could say, how can I grow my customer base as soon as possible? Here you go. It's saying, here's the sharp, fast, practical answer you need. So doing this gives us a much more relevant example. Okay, fix the #1 revenue leak on Etsy, low intent traffic, use the fastest audience engine, search hijacking. Okay, so a lot more better information here. For each top seller, identify the exact keywords they use, identify what they offer that you don't. Create your own listing variation targeting, pick your version 5 to 12% lower for 30 days to siphon intent. So I've done these exactly on Etsy and they've worked. Actually, I have an Etsy store. And yeah, actually this exact thing. Let's see what else it gives us. Leverage the highest converting channel for craft supplies, Pinterest, and do it in 20 minutes daily. Pinterest is great for Etsy. I've used that too. So also something that I've used that has actually worked. Post 2 fresh pins, upload 1 pin idea, add SEO rich Pinterest description, okay. Capture repeat buyers. So this is pretty detailed. It's pretty concise. It's pretty comprehensive. So you can stop right here just by grabbing this prompt, filling it out, and just running with it. Well, again, we'll go over how to add this to projects and to custom GPTs, so you don't have to put in the prompt every single time. You can also take this a step further. So we gave it a lot of good information, and why don't we now ask it a different question to get more information to feed into the large language model, so it knows even more about us. So ask me a series of questions so you can deeply understand my business, my goals, my challenges, and how I think. Ask me questions that aren't already mentioned in the text above. So now we're just gonna, again, provide even more information by having the AI ask us questions. Okay, business model plus product strategy. What are your top 3 best-selling products? Customers plus market insights, brand plus positioning, operations plus systems, marketing plus content. Okay, so now it's asking us a lot of questions. So the idea here is to fill out these questions, and it'll take you some time. Go through the questions, make sure they're good questions. Usually they are good questions. I've done this multiple times on different projects, and they usually always ask really good questions, especially after you give the first prompt that you have here. That way it knows already what you're talking about, and it's going a little bit deeper. So just giving deeper insights into everything. So you can say, give dummy answers to each of these questions, just to speed this up. Okay, so we have all our questions now. And now what we want to do is combine this with our previous prompt. Combine these questions and answers with our previous prompt, so you have a complete understanding of my business and goals. Okay, so it changed it around a little bit here from our original prompt, but it's being more direct to our specific business. You're a creative operations manager in the digital products and e-commerce space, and you also run a small online Etsy shop selling craft supplies. So we're giving it all this information, it's detailing it all out, make sure that it has all the exact same information that you put in. It's okay if this isn't the exact same prompt. When you combine the two, you can always just, at the bottom here, to this prompt, just type in You can adjust it, and you can just say, find a good spot here, right at the end. Here is more information about my business. And you can just paste in all 30 questions. So it has all of these. And that can be your one mega prompt that you have. But again, something that's even more concise can work really well also when having it being combined and just reworded like it is here. Again, I mentioned this in my previous video. AI can sometimes feel like, oh, why don't I just do something manually? Why it seems like it's all this work to have to read everything, to reprompt things, to combine stuff. But this is saving you, it saves you so much time doing this. So yeah, it can seem tedious having to go through and read, okay, was this the same kind of prompt that I had in the top right here? Was this okay? It doesn't necessarily matter. As long as it has the right information and is being direct and is giving you better outputs, and that's all that matters. You know, there's so much creativity and so much room for changing prompts that there's never necessarily one perfect prompt. So just keep that in mind as you're working through this. I know I'm going through this quickly, but of course this is for demonstrative purposes. You know, this would take me a while if I went through all 30 questions. So just again, keep that in mind. Okay, so what we have here is our prompt. So again, we can go ahead and use this prompt and just put it in our chat. In any chat that we do, you could just say, here is information about my business and my goals, and then just paste all of this in. And then the large language model will prompt you for something to ask it. But there's a better way to go about this. That way you don't have to copy and paste this over. And that is through projects. So you will need a paid account to access the projects. And what projects allow you to do is they allow you to add documents, allows you to add custom instructions, and all the chats that you have within the projects will take on these custom instructions and have this knowledge base of uploads that you have. So we can go ahead and create a new project, and go ahead and have what Etsy store business helper, right? We can create the project. Here's our project. We can add files, like I mentioned, images, code files, documents, it can be anything that you want to add to here. And it'll be able to retrieve this information from the project. Again, so you don't have to reprompt it all the time. So then what we can do is go up to the top right-hand corner, do add instructions, and here is where we can tell it how it's going to focus on certain topics and the tone of voice and just everything that we had in our prompt. So we can go back to the prompt. Okay, there, go and grab all of this, grab it at who you are, go back to the project, go back to the instructions, add instructions, copy that in, go ahead and click save. Okay, and then we can just start our chat. And each time we prompt here, it'll use those system instructions. So it's incredibly helpful having these projects. So then we can now start asking really important questions. So we could say something like, based on everything that you know about me, respond with 3 to 5 questions that I haven't thought of when I give you an idea. Blind spots, risks, issues. Okay, and then we could say, I want to open up another Etsy store similar to the one I have now to capture a different target audience. Okay, so I didn't say the exact business that I had. Let's change this. I want to open up another Etsy store in my niche. Go, send. Okay, so then at the bottom I just asked, what Etsy store do I run? And then it gives me all the information that we filled out in the system instructions just to show that it's given me correct answers for my particular niche, for my particular business. So then it gives us really good answers here. And we could say something like, I want to expand offerings to include many more designs. Okay, so there's giving me a lot of particular information on this. Questions, these are really good questions. Can my current cutting production workflow scale to 250 new designs without increasing bottlenecks? Which designs are actually proven by Etsy search trends? Photo workflow load. Do I have a repeatable fast photo mockup workflow to shoot or generate new listing photos? Will adding many variations make inventory harder to track? How do I ensure new designs don't cannibalize each other through SEO? So these are great questions. So you can see how we can really start to go back and forth with the large language model is incredibly helpful at having you think deeper about subjects and surface things that you've never thought of and help you work through those issues. And this is truly the way to get better answers, again, at the top 1% of people who use AI, use it in a very personal and very contextual way. So let's go over one more way that you can add this to ChatGPT without having to put in the prompt every single time. Go ahead and go to our custom GPTs. So we'll go ahead and click on Explore. And we'll go to Create, okay? And then when we're creating a custom GPT, we can go to Configure, Etsy Store Helper, Business Operations, okay? And what this custom GPT does is allows us to set it up in a way that gives us a custom chatbot. So we have our name, we have the description, we can see on the right-hand side, we can see the preview, how we have a blank chat right here with the information. And then we include our custom instructions like we did with the projects. And then we can also add in conversation starters. What can I do to expand, right? So that shows up there. And then let's go ahead and grab information. Let me save this first. Actually, I believe I have this in my clipboard. I'm gonna copy that, paste it over. Okay, so those are the exact same custom instructions that we add. It was the first prompt with the Mad Lib style filled in, and then the instructions, and we reprompted and got that combined custom instructions about our business. And again, we can have the option where we just have the Mad Lib style custom instructions, and then we can just tack on those 30 questions that we were asked as well. Okay, and then we have the recommended model. We usually just use no recommended, but we can use whichever one we want. For purposes of this, I would say more of the thinking models. So if you're asking it questions, more in-depth questions, and you need more in-depth research, then a thinking model would be better here. So we'll go ahead and do 5.1 thinking, and then we can choose the capabilities, whether we want to allow it to search the web, to use the canvas, as well as have image generation and do code interpretation and data analysis. So for this purposes, we can just leave this as it is. Okay, and then we can go ahead and create. We'll just have only me, save, and we can view the GPT, and we can see it's live here. So we go ahead and prompt away, can save time, and still earn more money. Ask me clarifying questions if needed. Okay, so now it's thinking. Go ahead and look at what it's thinking. Crafting a time-saving plan for Etsy shop owner. The user runs an Etsy supply shop, so you can see it's getting that contextual information that we provided it with the custom instructions. What's great about the thinking is we can see the step-by-step thinking, how it thinks through everything, so we can see its thought process. Okay, so we can output here. Short version, automate repetitive support plus systematize fulfillment, and then pour that free time into optimizing and expanding only on your highest ROI products. So a really good idea for that. Okay, focus on what actually makes you money, kill your number one annoyance. Okay, it was giving you step-by-step for how you can do this. And then you can continue prompting based on the questions that you have, based on if it's been detailed enough, and you can really go a lot farther with this. Marketing that compounds, Pinterest light system, and it gives you where to start. So it's nice that it gives you, the information on how to perform each one, and then gives you where to start, because it is a little overwhelming when you look at all this information. So it's giving really good instructions here. And that also has to do with our prompting that we did with the custom instructions, telling it to be concise and straightforward and no fluff. So if you have made it this far, I have a special bonus for you. I've gone ahead and added another tab here with prompts for help with AI. So what I've gone ahead and done is added prompts that we could use for various situations in our business that will prompt the AI to ask it how AI can help us. Because the one big issue here that a lot of people have with artificial intelligence is they don't quite know how to use it to help them. Oftentimes it can be hard to figure out how to use AI to help us. Sure, we may set up those projects with those custom instructions, but sometimes we struggle with questions to ask it how we can have AI help us. Sure, we ask it specific questions that we have, how can we expand our business, but how can AI be used to help us expand our business? So we have few questions here. So create content that sells quickly, So you're saying I need to boost conversions for my offer, review it and suggest 3 strategies to enhance clarity, create urgency, or build credibility using AI-driven prompts or feedback systems. Another example, automate your busy work, list 3 routine activities that complete weekly that could be handed off to AI, recommend appropriate platforms, and provide implementation steps for one task right now. Feel free to probe for more information. So these prompts are prompting AI to tell us how we can use AI to be more productive in our business. So it's getting a little meta there, but this will help you get more out of your projects, more out of your custom GPTs, or if you're just using the prompt, it'll help you use AI more effectively for your business. So give these a try, definitely help out. Whatever current situation that you have for your business or for whatever you're doing, you can also customize these. So if you don't have a business or you just have some sort of project that you're working on, you can always change these around. So for example, let's say you're just planning a wedding or something like that. You can just say, list 3 routine activities that I have with my wedding. So let's say your project is set up detailing the wedding, and you can just include that here. So let's go ahead and use one of these. We'll add that on in. Go to our custom GPT. My business. It already knows about my business, so we don't have to include that. In the next 7 days, focus on high impact, fast to implement solutions that create breathing room or forward progress. Request any clarifying details you need. So that's an important one. Still always asking the AI to ask if it needs more information. Just because we give it a bunch of information, maybe there's some sort of information that we didn't provide that is necessary for the question that we've asked. Okay, repetitive customer support replies, that was already touched on. That AI could fix that. And it gives you a prompt right here that we could use. So for example, we can create a custom GPT that responds to customers for our Etsy shop. So that's another way we can take this even further. So we can take what we learned with having these custom instructions, giving custom instructions to a project, to a custom GPT about our tone of voice, about our business, or even just having this in our own project that we already created. So you can create multiple projects, multiple custom GPTs for certain things that you're working on. Okay, slow manual Etsy listing creation optimization. Okay, so now it's giving us a prompt for creating these listings. Yeah, listings do take a while. It's the most time-consuming thing with any, shop that you have. An Etsy title, 140 characters max, keyword-rich but readable. Add 3 to 5 paragraphs, product description using this structure, hook, bullet points, best for, why buy this, simple usage, care tips, tags. So yeah, this is a good format that'll work well. And product details, you can paste from the sheet. So it's suggesting using a Google Sheet, I believe. Yeah, Etsy listing engine, simple Google Sheet plus AI. So setting that up and gives us a 7-day AI game plan. Fulfillment and prep assistant is the last one. You can see how deep you can go into this rabbit hole or how shallow you can go with it. So again, simply if you feel, overwhelmed by going through all this prompting, you can always just use the single prompt in the sheet here in this first tab, fill it out, and that will already get you ahead of a lot of people with artificial intelligence. And to get even better responses, going down that rabbit hole, getting more questions answered, putting those into the prompt, then asking the AI to help you with AI prompts, with information on how to ask AI to help me with my bottlenecks. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make AI work better for you, how to have it give you outputs that actually move the needle in your business or whatever project you're working on. You can go as deep or as shallow as you want to get better answers, and this will make the world of difference with your outputs. So AI really isn't about being some expert and knowing everything about how to use these tools. It's about being confident and clear and providing context and getting information that will be helpful for you. So start with one tool, train it deeply, then start asking questions and prompting the large language model, and then save that into a project, custom GPT, or just have it as a prompt that you reuse. And you can always iterate on the prompts that you have, adding more information, taking away information based on where your project or business is. Again, my name was Daniel. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial video and got something out of it. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.